Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. We are 4 business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts. We now share the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. Today, we are talking about to negotiate or not negotiate. It has already caused some controversy, our headline, so if you want to know whether to negotiate or not, you're in the right place. So I'm Clare Worley. We also have
Kate Curry,
Darren Langley,
Pete Morgan.
Welcome, guys. So obviously we've had some controversy already. So let's talk about whether we should be negotiating or not negotiating. I'm interested to see what conclusion we come to today. So let's start us off with, let's remember back if there's any funny memories or anything that stands out in relation to potential clients, suppliers, whoever, negotiating with you. Who wants to kick us off today? Shall I?
I think
Yes, please.
someone should. Yeah.
Right. So I have had people trying to negotiate. It's very rare now, but I particularly remember someone right at the beginning of my business when I was offering coaching in 3 sessions. It was a block of 3 sessions, which I don't do now. But I had someone ask if they could pay in the full discount, have the full pay in full discount, but pay as you go. Do you get me?
So like pay after each session?
The advantages of the one, the advantages of the other.
I said yes. Yeah. What a fool. So I said yes, I let them, and then guess what happened?
You only did 1 session?
Did 2 sessions.
2 sessions.
Well done now.
Yeah.
Because it was at the start of my business, I thought, oh yeah, I know her, she's good for it. And she just had the 2 sessions and caused me a load of grief. And
is that because she devalued it straight away because you did?
Totally, without a doubt. So I'm just going to put my conclusion in now before we even finish. Never let clients.
Okay, so that's
negotiate your prices.
Business for today. We'll see you next
Exactly.
month.
Short one this week.
Yeah.
Who else has had
I had actually a similar
experiences?
experience to that recently, and this flies in the face of what I was going to say, but I did actually say that to the client out loud, that so you want the benefits of paying now but with the benefits of it being cheaper or whatever the thing was. And he's like, well, yeah. I was like, yeah, well, we all do, don't we? It's kind of it's like,
So you said no.
I did say no.
Yeah.
I know. I thought, well, they see my inner Clare Worley came out and just jumped out there and said, like, smack this down, put this in the bag. Quick.
Yeah. But do you think at the start of your business you would have said, yeah?
I'd have, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been good at negotiating. I sometimes come away from meetings, having struck a deal, feeling really good about it, and then realise I've like given away a kidney or something. So hang on, wait a minute, this wasn't quite as good as I thought it was. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. And that was the week before last. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's still happening then. Still really relevant.
That's why it's good to do this and.
Yeah. Okay. So Pete, what about you?
Because it's what it is. I mean, I'm rubbish at negotiating, and in the early days of the business, I had someone say, "I will pay you a very low amount." It's just a bit more than a third of what clients pay now, and I said, "Yeah, all right then." Because it was the early days, and you were, and then the problem you have is when you realise you're putting just as much effort into their work as you are other clients, but they're paying exactly. So it was kind of slowly increasing their prices as time went on, but I shouldn't have done it. But what I find is that people want to pay, and I think it might be the same for all of us, they want to pay for what they see right in front of them. They're not willing to pay for your knowledge, your expertise, or the kind of effort you're bringing to make that happen. Yeah.
And of course, at the beginning of any kind of working relationship, you don't know about the value, do you? You don't know at the beginning what value you're going to get. So it's kind of just in your mind, well, I think it's worth £1,000, so that's how much I'm going to pay. Kate, how's your negotiation or not negotiating skills?
Well, I mean, better than it was. And some of these things I think we might have touched on in our pricing episode that we did a while ago as well, like whether to drop your prices or not, you know. And I think, yeah, same as everybody else really, right at the beginning, you just want the clients and you just think, well, if I lower my price, I'll get more clients in, happy days. Whereas now I understand that people who want me to drop my price are not my ideal customers.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really good filtering tool. So I had somebody come to me recently who said, I've got a project, if you would like it, if you can drop your price slightly, then he was basically suggesting I would have the project. And I thought, it wasn't one I particularly wanted to do anyway. So I was like, well, I can't drop my price. It's calculated based on the value you'll get from it and my expertise, and I don't want to do it for any less, and I won't do it for any less, and that was that. And I didn't get the project, but you know, it wouldn't have worked out well, and I know that now from previous experience that it doesn't end well when you start getting into those sorts of conversations.
Yeah.
It is the old adage of give an inch and they'll take a yard.
Yeah.
It's absolutely okay. I'll do a bit of reduction. Oh, that's fine. Do you mind doing cartwheels and handstands as well as? Oh, right, okay, fine. Or it's that if you do this, there'll be other business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Little carrot dangling. So let's give some good advice then to those business owners who are listening, who are just starting out. What do you wish you would have known or done differently at the beginning?
Well, for me, I think the solution to negotiating is to have fixed prices, packages potentially, that you are confident with. And then when people push back, that's kind of the reason that I was able to feel confident in pushing back against the potential client the other week, is because basically, I've put a lot of thought into how that I got to that price. So, and what the benefits of it are, a bit like what Kate was saying. And you just want to knock 20% off or whatever it might be, whatever the haggle is. So, well, no, I'm not going to do that because that's the price.
Yeah.
And you don't go to Tesco's and buy a week's worth of shopping and then start negotiating at the checkout. You just get laughed at the store.
That's such good advice, because when you've done your homework with all those packages when they're in place, line by line what it's costing you to deliver it.
That gives you the confidence, because when you're just making up numbers on the spot, it's like, well, do I really think it's that? And that's what, Kate and I've had this as well recently, where someone said, so just give me a ballpark figure of what it's like.
Nope.
If I pluck a number out of thin air, then obviously that's going to be as high as it's ever going to go for one thing, because you're never going to want to quote a fixed price or a higher price. And then it's a case of, well, they know you're not confident in that number, so they can negotiate you down. So
let's be clear then, would you say to those startups, say no when a client tries to negotiate, or would you say, it's good to have learned from that?
Well, no, I mean, I think, fix your prices and be confident in them, I think, is from day one if you can.
Add a bit of value in. Like, if I know there's something that's not going to take me very long to do, and I'll say, look, I tell you what, I'll do that as well, but the price is the price. Yeah. And that's a nice little negotiation, because they feel they're getting a lot more value, but it doesn't really, it's not a big thing for you to deliver it, so... That was a nice learning that I've had over the years, and that works well. It's a nice sweetener. But I also really like the idea of negotiating in a supermarket now. With the price of everything.
I think legally you can. Legally you can. I mean, you can try it.
It's not going to work.
What
are they going to do? Be like, well,
because I think everything that's on is a recommended retail price. Yeah, so you can.
Clues in the RRP. You can
try,
you can say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you this for it.
Yeah.
But it's just nobody does it, because I think it must be, if it's in a supermarket, it has to be the manager that does it.
And I don't think we like haggle and negotiate in our culture, do we? There's lots of other countries where you go and it's it's normal.
Don't you want to haggle?
Every day.
I think if you were to try and haggle in Tesco's, they would turn around because they're confident in their pricing and say no.
Yeah.
And then you'd what you do is leave the basket at the checkout and walk out empty-handed, and they'll just sell it to someone else. At full
exactly.
price. So that's the same mentality we need to adopt in our smaller businesses where it's like, well, if I sell that to you at a discounted price, then it probably means I'm not going to be able to sell it to somebody else at the full price.
That's totally true, isn't it? Yeah. So, you know, mine was the same as yours, Darren, you know, put in place those clear packages. I mean, I had clear packages at the beginning, but I still allowed someone to negotiate. But I think probably I'd plucked a figure out of the air, and that's why I was like, oh, okay. Then
Is there ever a time that you should negotiate? Or is it always, it's like Grange Hill, just say no?
Well, I hear ammo on lots of fronts in my mind.
You should definitely negotiate on your smack purchases. To be perfectly honest. Those boys will haggle, don't worry.
Is there ever a time you should negotiate?
Yes, I think there is.
I just asked, is there an echo in here?
I was clarifying the question
right, sorry.
for my very weak brain today.
I think there are times actually when you negotiate, and that's if it's a project you really believe in, something that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
Maybe something that you do think will lead on to other work. That's maybe it's not from the same client, but maybe it's something you can use as a as a sales piece yourself, or even for me with like charities, I quite like to offer a bit more of a.
Oh, you're so good, Darren.
I am, aren't I? I do a lot of good work for charity, So yeah, I mean, I don't mind it in those sort of situations because as long as I walk away feeling good and still have both kidneys, then I'm happy, really.
Yeah.
That's.
I like Kate's advice of giving more value.
Yeah,
I like that
because it's not always about money, is it? Negotiation,
No. This episode is brought to you by Kate Hollingsworth. Kate Hollingsworth is not your average brand photographer. If you want to tell your brand story with a cohesive set of on-brand images that convey your team as the approachable, trustworthy and talented bunch they truly are, Kate's the photographer for you. Kate specialises in working with businesses to discover what makes them tick and who their ideal client is. And then she crafts a photo shoot unique to your business and its story. The result? A set of photographs perfect for your web, print and social media needs to help you connect with your ideal client and ultimately get you more sales. So what are you waiting for? Take a look at her work at brandphotographybykate.co.uk and connect with her on LinkedIn. So what have you learned about yourself or your business through clients or suppliers trying to negotiate with you?
I think for me in podcasting, and I think Darren might be similar, is that people will negotiate because they've seen an ad somewhere or they've read an article somewhere that they can make a podcast or build a website for pennies.
Yeah.
And of course you can, but it looks like you've made a podcast for pennies or built a website for pennies. You're not going to get a really good looking product, or if
you get what you pay for.
Absolutely,
exactly.
You get what you pay for.
It'll look like you've made a website with crayons.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean I suppose that's the thing with what we all do is like the sort of industry pricing can vary massively, can't it?
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very clear.
And it should do because we're all offering something very different.
And working with
aren't
very
we?
different clients and looking to achieve different things. So you just have to find where you fit into that bracket. It takes a bit of time to work out what that is, doesn't it? Sometimes.
I think it's good to be flexible with your offering to a degree, as long as it works for you and your business, and it's still going to get the client the results they're looking for, because clients don't always know what they need. They know what they want, but they don't know what they need. So they might be asking for something that actually isn't going to get them the results you're looking for. So you can flex, but not a huge amount.
Yeah, and I think again that goes back to what we were saying earlier on of you will get a sense of how committed they are to the project, and you think, okay, if I am a bit flexible here, I know you're going to kind of do what I need you to do to accommodate the flexibility I've built in. So I think it's fine doing it. Whereas with others, you think, okay, you're not invested in this at all.
No.
This is just a quick thing for you. So
So, Darren, what have you learned about your business through negotiating?
Well, there is an old saying, and I think I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, but you can have the project at a low cost, you can have it at high quality, you can have it at a fast turnaround. Pick two, but you can't have all three, because it's kind of, at some point, there's a kind of compromise as to, you know, if you want something that's going to be discounted or lower price, then you're going to have to compromise on either the quality or the amount of time it takes to produce and apply to the others as well. You know, so if you want it quick, then it might cost you more, kind of thing. So there's that kind of sometimes resonates in the back of my head when I'm talking to clients who kind of want their cake and eat it. I know that's really the point of cakes, is to have your cake and eat it, but you know what I mean. It's like you should.
It's not smell-o-vision, is it?
It's not. No. But which is why that's a really odd phrase, isn't it? But anyway, but that sometimes resonates in the back of my mind. It's like, well, you want this done in 2 weeks, and you want it to be done super cheap, and you want it to be the best looking website ever. Then it's like that we can't quite tick all of those.
Yeah, I like
boxes,
that. You know, I like that.
Because
you can't have all three.
Good, fast,
and of course,
cheap, pick two.
Yeah,
That's the one.
Good, fast. Good, fast, cheap. Because essentially, when people are negotiating, that is really what they're asking for, isn't it? All the time.
Yeah.
Darren.
There you go. Thank you.
You can go out
Right,
now.
I'm done. I'll see you later. If anybody wants a discount code for web design, use code DAZ300. I don't know. Actually, on the point of discount codes, just one nugget is make sure that if you've got any discount codes floating around from when you started your business 15 years ago, they're on some website that you haven't seen in that time, and then a client finds it and then calls you up and wants to use the discount code. Just, be wary of that. That's
Has that happened to you?
that happened to me, yes,
Did it?
recently.
Did it? Oh my God.
Wounded. Yeah.
What did you say?
Did you have to honour it? Was the small
I
thing
didn't
like,
have
oh,
to, but they brought that up at the end of the meeting, so it was kind of like, oh,
That's awkward.
damn. Did the project go well? No.
Did they want it good, fast and cheap?
Yes, they did. But there you go.
So what's the biggest challenge you've got right now?
I mean, when it comes to negotiating, I'm no good with any kind of confrontation at all. And it is approaching that or kind of rebuffing that when someone says, you want to charge X amount, I'd like to pay 2/3 of that or half of that. And it's kind of, I can do it better on email, but on a Zoom call or face-to-face, I'm really like, oh, okay then, yep, that's fine. Okie dokie. And then I'll silently, and then in the car on the way back, I think, I should have said this. That was a brilliant comeback, Pete. You should have done that. Yeah. So that's my big challenge, is just that kind of difficult for me. Well, yeah, it's difficult for both of us. It's a difficult conversation to have about, no, I don't want to charge you that because that's rubbish.
So, having had our conversation today, what would you say next time?
I think it would come down to what the project is, and, if I don't feel I'm going to get anything out of it, and if I don't feel that they're committed to the project, then I think it would have to be, well, no, I'm sorry, these are the prices. Because I've done that. I package my services up, but you will. What I find is you package your services up, and then people kind of go, okay, so you've got A, B, C. I'd like secret package F. All right, okay. Let me think.
There isn't a secret package F. I would suggest next time, or just have a think after this podcast and come up with a line that you're going to use.
Yeah.
I always imagine I've got a tool belt on, and I've got my line, and my line there to share. Because you cannot think on the spot while under pressure about money.
No.
You need to have a line for next time someone comes and asks for that. So, I've written Darren's things down. I love that, the high quality, fast turnaround low cost. So you want all of those three. Can't have all of those three.
Yeah.
Unless you've got the right discount code.
On my secret website page. So what's your biggest challenge, Kate?
I think it's probably filtering out the negotiators, those sorts of people who are looking for, quick turnaround, low price, you know, like early on enough in the process, because even though I do have a process, they still slip through the net. And then I find at the end of my beautiful presentation, and they go, oh, well, I can't pay that. And you know, can we do anything like on the price? I'm like, well, no. So I think it's just trying to sort of tighten up the process really, and try and keep it much more focused on my target audience, because it's an hour of your life that neither of you will get back.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is a point, though, isn't it? I think there's a method by which you get the client to commit amount of time or effort before you get to the point of talking about money. So that'd be maybe, you know, filling out questionnaires and doing, you know, whatever it might be that gets them to, because if the first question they come up with when they phone you up is how much is a website, which is what I get quite a bit, they haven't invested anything except dialing a number to get that. But if you get them to follow a process and do certain tasks first, then they're engaged, they're invested. So maybe when they've lost an hour, by the end of that meeting, not lost an hour, but when they've committed an hour to talking to you about, you know, what you do, at the end of that hour, if they're asking about the price, then, you know, they've already lost time. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Generally, they should have decided they want to work with you before the price comes up.
Exactly, that's what you want.
They should. Something my coach does is put her programs on at starting from on the website, so it filters out people. I can't say that I 100% agree with that.
Because you're putting out your lowest price, aren't you?
And also, her lowest price is still a really high price there. But I just think, you know, there are certain people that when they have a conversation and they see the value, because they can't see it before they've spoken to you, that then it changes the conversation. If I'd have known my coach's starting prices, I would never have worked with her. But
because you hadn't invested anything as such.
I hadn't invested anything, so I can't say that I completely agree with it.
The other flip side of that, which is the thing that I kind of do now, and maybe I did previously, but with less confidence, is to ask for the budget and to give them some options that I've pre-set as to what that budget is, and that gives me then an idea of, if they choose the lowest one, then I know they want something cheap, so they're going to have you know, a longer turnaround. No, they're not. They're, you know, basically just having those three or four price categories and let them choose where they sit in that, and then you can sort of filter them out, you know, afterwards if they're choosing the ones that are going to be too cheap for what they're asking for, or, you know.
It gives you an idea, doesn't it, before you go into the conversation. See, my biggest challenge is helping those who can't afford my services but desperately need my services. Yeah. And as I was kind of thinking about this, I was like, part of me knows that they're not my ideal client because they're not going to invest, but then the other half of me really wants to help these people. So obviously there's lots of free resources they can get, but and really that is the only answer, isn't it? Can't help everybody.
You know, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's why when I say kind of like, if you come away feeling good about it, even if you haven't been paid the full amount, then I think that's still a win. You know, if you feel like you've helped somebody and done something, or helped, you know, a charity, then you know, there's other tangible, semi-tangible benefits of the feel-good factor that you get. I think it's more if you walk away from somebody, you think that person probably has a lot more money as they drive away in their Porsche. But I've just given them a massive discount.
But that's not how they want to invest or spend it. They might have loads of money, but they don't see the value in it.
Yeah, but if you then kind of feel a bit peeved, and then you've, you know, that's.
I suppose as well, like, you know, what you were saying, Pete, earlier, on a different conversation, you know, you've got low price points to capture those people, like your masterclass for £12.50 and like my goal setting workshop for £95 or...
£95? Can I get that for 75?
You could have got it for 75, Darren, but you knew that.
Do you have to read the small print first?
You do, before you hit the book now button.
Just can't go.
But, you know, having those low price points to capture people who are not ready to fully invest with you is another way around that, isn't there? Okay, so let's talk about some silver linings. What are some silver linings when it comes to negotiating or not negotiating?
I think one silver lining, and this is for, you know, kind of people who are maybe starting their own business, or it doesn't happen as much as you think.
Yes,
It's not every
that's
client,
true.
it's not every customer, it's not every interaction. You know, I think I've been quite lucky that it's a relatively rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Do you think people maybe ask for, you know, negotiating on more of a product sort of led business rather than services? I was wondering that. If maybe
I'd
people-
have thought the other way around.
Yeah,
Either way
I
around.
would.
Yeah. If it's a TV, then, you know, it's like, well, you can kind of understand there's a certain amount of value gone into the components, but if it's just some person who's spent their life learning how to do something, then you can beat them down. When
But I also
Get their-
think
get their price
it
in,
is certain people.
Yeah.
Those people who are negotiating with you, they negotiate with everybody because they
Yeah.
have got to feel like they are getting the best possible deal, and they've
Yeah.
done everything to try and get a discount. They're not
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
negotiating with you, are they?
Which I kind of also feel is a little bit weird, because it's kind of what. So you think that I've not offered you the best price that I could possibly do for the amount of work that you want me to do?
Yeah.
And you think there's still some room to? You know, it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're almost saying I'm ripping you off if you paid the full price. It's kind
Yeah,
of,
but I think genuinely that's what
Yeah,
they
yeah.
think, don't they?
I always say, well, you know, this is the best price that, as you know, I've worked out. So
See, I like the fact that when people are negotiating, it's not a no from them, it's a conversation.
yeah,
Like, extend, because you can... It's your opportunity to find out if they are, going to be a good client. Like, negotiating can be a bit of a turn-off, but it's like, what needs to happen in order for you to say yes to this, in order for it to feel right? You're smiling.
Sorry.
You're smiling at my sales pattern.
No, not at all. Sorry. It was just when you said, you know, some people find it a turn off. It's a turn on if it's naked negotiating.
Is it?
So, but I don't know. That was just
That's what came into your head.
schoolboy brain that just suddenly clicked
I
in.
love that. If in doubt, if you're struggling, just get naked.
Yeah, exactly.
start taking your
That-
clothes off.
I don't want to encourage any naked negotiations.
No.
I really don't need that over Zoom
No.
all of a sudden.
Right, so we're going to call this negotiation strip bare. Is that what we're saying?
Oh, I like it. Kate, got any silver linings?
Yes, I think that over the years, with doing bits of negotiation and that kind of thing, and learning about who I want to work with, I think it's given me much more of an understanding of the value of what I deliver and what that can get from a client, and therefore I'm more confident in my pricing as well. So it's a good thing to go through. It's like it helps you to understand where your pricing should be and understand like why it's like that, and so yeah, does that make sense?
I think so.
Am I waffling? Yes. No.
No, it makes sense to me. Darren, silver linings.
Well, I mean, if you're successful at avoiding negotiation, then you get paid your worth that you've worked out. So that's a silver lining if you get paid the full whack. But I think, you know, the silver lining is if I'm doing a project and working for weeks, whatever it might be, and feel that I've undersold it or been negotiated out of the true value of the project, then it really just kind of makes me feel negative about the project as we're going
Right
through.
from the get-go.
Yeah, and that could obviously then take weeks. So the alternative of that is, I mean, if you've negotiated and given a discount or added more value in, but you're comfortable with that and you're happy that you're doing it for the reasons that are good for you, then you don't have that negative feeling. You have a nice positive feeling as you're going through, enjoying doing the work. And if you can do that every time, then, you know.
Happy business owner,
Exactly.
happy clients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to go around the room quickly to see if you negotiate. So when you engage with another business owner, do you ever try to negotiate, Kate? Yes or no?
No.
Pete?
No.
Do I heck it's
Darren?
like?
No, I don't either. No.
I don't have the confidence to negotiate with people.
No.
I either see the value or I don't.
I feel like it's like, because I know how it feels when people negotiate with me, and I feel like you don't value what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
it's
and I don't want
insulting.
to, I feel like it is, and so I don't want to do that to other people.
I don't even negotiate at markets and stuff.
No, I never do. If I'm on holiday with Rob, Asia particular,
Yeah.
love negotiating. Rob loves to haggle, and I'm like, oh my God, no, don't be so bloody mean. Pay 'em
Yeah, it's only 20p saving.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watch some of those property shows where people are like negotiating on price, and before they are putting their offer price, I'm thinking, well, that £200,000 property, I'd probably, I'd offer 190, 180. They go in at like 120 and get it. It's like,
I know.
So I'm not very good at this.
I have had to have no part in any of the buying of our houses because I was like that. You'll pay like 50 grand over because you want that house.
Yeah.
I have to stay clear of it all. Guys, as always, you've been awesome. For our lovely listeners, please share, subscribe and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy, be inspired and always keep focused on the fun side of business too.
Kick him in the nuts. No. Sorry, I'll edit that out.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.